Hi there, everyone. I'm Anna. I'm here in the beautiful Dutch city of Maastricht. It's just a couple hours north of my home in Eschenhalzet. And I'm here for a very joyous occasion. It's to interview and also to support a long term friend of mine. We've known each other for 15 years, who, on her third attempt at winning Kaila, having come close twice, the third time was lucky, and she's going to Eurovisn't, but not for the first time, because a decade ago she represented Sweden. So she's the only other person on the planet, other than me, who's represented both Sweden and Luxembourg. I'm talking, of course, about my dear friend Lirina. How's it going? Oh, hi Anna. Yeah, thank you for coming today to interview me. I know you're really busy with all the stuff for the delegation, so come on. I remember when I was representing Sweden back in the year 16, and you were the one who interviewed me about La Tromfon, so I knew I had to return the favor and interview you. And I knew the day would come that you'd get to Eurovision again. Well, I am so grateful for your belief in me all these years. I didn't think that I'd get to Eurovision the first time, let alone twice, and especially not for two different countries. It's a lot to assimilate, really, and with just 24 hours before the show begins, I'm really nervous right now. I'm trying to not get too much into my head, you know what I mean? But it's difficult, it really is. But I'm so thrilled to be representing the country that has been my home for the last 14 years. So, for those of the listeners who don't know, you and I go back for a long time. That's right. You were pretty much my first friend in Luxembourg. I came here as the equivalent of Erasmus student. I came on a system that was initiated by former president of Monezenrgo to bring Monezenrgian citizens to other European countries. And I came as a student, and people were really nice, but I felt very homesick because, I'd lived in Ulcini all my life, and it's a beautiful city. It becomes part of you, and I was having a hard time, and you befriended me, and I've never looked back. Well, I saw that you looked really lost, and I wanted to help out, and I don't regret it either. We've had so many special memories over the years, and in fact, you were such a crucial part of my first Eurovision journey of three so far. Well, I was so glad that you invited me. Yeah, when you went to Kotor, to neighboring Zezagora, you had phoned me because it was a couple of years after doing this study abroad, and I'd returned to Monezenrgo, and honestly, I wasn't in the best position in my life at that time. I was really struggling with the aftermath of a breakup that had left me not just questioning my life, but also, questioning my own sense of self. And all of a sudden I get this call, oh, it's Anna from Luxembourg. What does she want? And I didn't expect that you were here in the neighborhood and wanting to make music with me. Yeah, and we made De Dritte Keer des Gaans together. We made an entire EP, and you came to Kotor with me to be one of my backing singers, and I think you brought some of the luck of Monezenrgo with you. Well, I was just so glad to be able to help with this production of yours, Über den Sticks. I know how much that song meant to you, so to be a part of a little bit of the history of that, and of Lirija 2 years later, was such an honor for me. So I remember after the whole experience in Kotor, I said to you, why don't you move? Why don't you come to Luxembourg? Because you'd hit kind of a snag in your professional career as well, right? Yes, I mean, it felt like I'd got as far as I could in my country, really. And sadly, I wasn't being given any real opportunities to represent Monezenrgo abroad. I don't know why, but I just never was taken into consideration. And as much as I love my hometown, it was just tainted with all these memories of uh, the toxic relationship basically that I come out of. And so when you said, move to Escharzel, I'll give you a spare room, it was like you cast a life buoy towards me, and my life changed that day when I came to live in Luxembourg. I thought I was just coming for a little bit of a respite. I never expected I was going to stay for over a decade. And I was telling you at that time, you're an amazing artist. You have a very unique autorial voice, let's say, and you write songs that I couldn't confuse with anybody else. I'm like, yeah, this is a Lirina song. So I was encouraging you to try out for Kyle. Yes, and I was considering it. I mean, I was going on gigs with you and I was building up my name slowly but surely in Luxembourg, but I thought that I was just going to embarrass myself, really. I've always struggled with this sense of, don't put yourself too out there because you'll end up regretting it, you know. So it took me a while to get used to this idea of, okay, maybe I take a song that is, personal to me and I consider putting it in a competition, because that was something I really struggled with. And you considered taking part in Kyle 10, in the end you didn't. Yes, I honestly thought that, well, see, I was still new to the country and I thought there's no way Luxembourg, they're getting the ability to host this contest for the first time ever. No way are they going to choose some girl who's just moved here to represent them. And instead, a band who have never lived in Luxembourg, but by this stage it's like their second home, Laima Minyafa, they won. And that was kind of the push I needed, because I saw, yeah, okay, well, actually I was wrong. Maybe I could have won in year 10. And then I saw that you were getting this position with Flux as like the coordinator of Kyle, so I thought, let's give it a go. And I participate with Spotibur, which is this song where I just take all these cliches and, sexist tropes where women are cast as, these helpless, dainty little creatures who are just waiting to get saved. And I turn it on its head, and I'm singing in this song about I'm no damsel in distress, I'm my own heroine, with this sword and shield in my own hands. And I didn't know how well that would do, but it came close to winning. In fact, it was the same story with both times that I took part in Kyle. If it weren't for Mael, then I might have won both times. But it was interesting dynamic, because you and Mael were already friends by the time you participated in Kyle 11, right? Yes, I mean, Mael was a friend of yours, so I got to know her back in year 7, 8. And for us, it was like, whoever wins, the other one is going to go and support them. And I was glad that Abri won. It's a very special song and very powerful, and the year later I got a chance to go to Eurovisn't anyway. Yeah, you kind of got headhunted by Sweden, as has happened with many of our greatest talents, so it's a real compliment that you deserved. And they invited you straight away to go to Melodifestivalen and to bring Zala Paskledala, which won the contest. Yes, and that is definitely not something that I was expecting, and neither, it seems, was anyone, uh, and it kind of filled my head even more with self-doubts, really, the reaction to my winning. It was like, oh, so she won, okay. It was like everything that I'd been working up towards. I felt a bit deflated, really, by the reaction in some quarters. But at the same time, I knew I had a song that I truly believed in and was important for me to express. And so I went out there and I defended this song. And I have no regrets. And I'm so glad that Zalapa Skladala is a Eurovision song too. Now, the song was about how you struggle with, your own vision of yourself. Yes, I was likening my mind to being like a hall of mirrors. And the mirrors are implanted in my mind by other people, and it's their distorted perception of how they see me. And Zalapa Skladala is all about me fighting to keep a hold of my own identity and, see myself for who I am and not for how people who don't know me perceive me. But how it's difficult because I felt trapped in this hall of mirrors, and every single day there's other things that, distort my own vision of myself. So it was a really personal song. And you came back 2 years later in Kale with Ruga, which was also about mental health and about, you saying that it's not so important getting to a destination with your mental health. The fact that you've progressed in itself is something to be proud of. Yes, that's right. And I was so glad that the Ruga did quite well in an All-Stars edition as well and got into the super final. But yeah, honestly, at that point I thought, well, I might not ever be winning Kale. I might always just come close. But 10 years after I was in Eurovisn't, in year 22, I thought, it's been a decade. Now is my chance to return, and I've got a song that means so much to me, so let's throw the dice again. And that song indeed won, and won with quite a convincing margin, Namore. And tell us a little bit about it. So Namore is got at its center this nautical leitmotif, and basically it uses the sea as an image of how two people can see something vastly differently depending on their experience, because the sea represents toxic relationships or toxic cycles, and ones that I've got stuck in too, which make me more aware of that problem when people who are close to me also get stuck in those cycles. So for me, the sea is full of dangers because I've navigated it. I came out of the other side, but my boat was constantly rocked by stones and storms and headwinds and currents. Whereas the people to whom I address this song, they see the sea from the shoreline, and they don't want to have this image in their head that it's a dangerous place. Instead, they want to think, no, actually, it's peaceful. Look at it. Look, the waters are pure. They're crystalline. You can see the bottom. So I'm going to cross this sea. I'm going to reach my destination, because they have this idea that you just got to keep going. Because if you stop, then you die, is their impression. But I know that by entering the sea, by entering in this vicious circles, then there's a chance that they'll never get out, and it pains me. So Namore is about this feeling of helplessness, of realizing that people close to you are slowly headed towards a disaster, and you can't really say anything about it, or if you do, you realize I've already said too much, and the only thing they're going to see me as is as someone who spreads doom, you know what I mean? And I risk detonating the entire connection we have if I keep insisting that there's dangers there that, they can't see or won't see. So it's about that feeling, and the feeling of just getting distance from someone, whatever you do, because you're stuck on the shore, you can't go with them. And the only thing that you can hope to do is to see them come out safely in the other side somehow, you know. But it's so difficult to just abandon them to their fate and hope for the best. It really is. So, tell us a little bit about your plans for Maastricht if you can, and how you're aiming to bring the song alive. Well, I've been working with Poir, I've been working with Linda, and we're hoping to bring something that is a really big moment to the stage, you know. I'll be surrounded with, the floors and walls that will invoke the visuals of the song, you know. So you'll be coming with me on not just a musical journey, but also like an audiovisual one. That will also include, you know, some a cappella part. There'll be some interpretive dance. I mean, I'm gonna take quite a few risks with this performance because, you know, many people aren't lucky enough to get to Eurovisn't one time, let alone twice. So with me getting back, I really want to do things my style and hopefully make a big impression and bring a moment and, you know, touch people's hearts is what I really want to do. So, Lirina, okay, like quick fire round. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, so what's your favorite city except the one that you come from and the one that you live in? So, I live near Luxembourg City. Can I say Luxembourg City? Well, you live in Strassen, which is basically Luxembourg City, so no. Okay. Well, I would have to say Velipoja, you know, the capital of Monezenrgo. Ulcini is a more beautiful city, but Velipoja is a very special place too. And sometimes you can see Doc President, which is a joy. And it fills you with hope to be in a capital city that isn't soulless, but instead is full of people who are working for the betterment of everybody in that country, you know. And it's such an egalitarian place and beautiful setting near the sea, and it's a beautiful place. Okay, what would you like to do if you weren't a musician? Well, if I weren't a musician, I would love to work in politics, you know. It's something that sounds a bit strange because we're not used to idealistic people going into public office anymore, which in itself is a real shame and an indictment. But for me, I would love to make a difference. Like, I've seen people like Paul Vergoel here who followed up her music career by going into politics, and she's making a difference as the education minister. And I'd love to do something like that as well because, you know, I have many visions of how better the world could be, and it'd be good to find a way to make it happen, you know? Who was your biggest inspiration? My biggest inspiration, hands down, was my grandfather. He really should have been a famous musician in his own right, but he never truly believed in himself enough. And, well, neither do I really. I'm full of self-doubt, but at least from his example, he pushed me to put my name out there more than I ever would have. And, you know, I never would have started being the main performer of songs had it not been for him. So, yeah, my life would be drastically different without him. So, Lirina, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining me, and we wish you the best of luck in Maastricht. The whole country of Luxembourg and of Monezenrgo will be behind you. Thank you so much, moja draga. Bye.